Hi everyone, I'm gonna be going over my cultural case study today of the white population. To start off, the definition of white is a person having origins in any of the original places of Europe, the Middle East, or North America. So to get into the demographics, according to the 2020 census, the white population in the United States was around 204 million. So this has decreased since 2010 when it was reported that 223.6 million identified as white alone in the United States. To be a bit more local, the white population in South Dakota in 2020 was around 78,000. So the history and origin of the white population. So Columbus first reached America in 1480, and I put it in quotations because the word America was not first used until 1550. The first group of around 100 members founded permanent English settlement in Jamestown on May 14th of 1607. And many groups that ended up immigrating to America came to increase their wealth, broaden their influence on world affairs, or just escape religious persecution. So to talk about the geographical dispersion, since 2020, the white population has decreased by 8.6% since 2010. Even with that decrease, though, it still remains the largest race in the United States. A total of 204.3 million, which is 61.6% of people identified as white alone, with 235.3 million, 71%, identifying as white alone or in combination with another group, so a mixed race. In urban areas, the white population makes up 44% compared to 68% in suburban areas and 79% living in rural areas, which kind of shows the graphic I have on the PowerPoint. Is basically what I just said, with like 44% living in urban areas and then 68% suburban and 79% rural. And then it shows the other races and where they make up the most. In South Dakota, white population makes up 84.2%. So to move on, the language, fluency, and communication style of the past. So this graphic shows from 2008 to around 2010, and it's the main languages spoken at home by US residents 5 and older. So obviously you guys can see that 79.7% in 28 or 2008 and 2010 only spoke English, with the next highest language being Spanish with 12.6%. So now present day or 2020. In the United States, 78.4% speak only English, with the next highest percentage being 13.2 speak Spanish. In South Dakota, households that only speak English make up majority, which is 93.9%, with only 6.1 speaking another language other than English. Again, here's another graphic to show the languages spoken at home. This one goes from 1980 to 2019, so it gives you a good look. And so obviously the green is they only speak English at home, and the orangish color is they're speaking another language at home. So for religion and beliefs, Christianity is the most followed religion of the white population, with 70% identifying as Christians. Christianity is pretty broad, and so this includes like 3 different types of Protestants, Catholic, Mormon, Orthodox Christian, and Jehovah's Witness. And then 24% are just unaffiliated with the religion belief. So the bar graph, it shows the belief in God among whites. And so it is 61% say that they believe in God. They're absolutely certain they believe. 20% they believe in God, but they're just fairly certain. 5% believe in God, but they're just kind of unsure, like they're not too certain about it. 1% believe in God, but just don't know. And then 11% do not believe in God at all. And then 3% just don't really know if they believe in God or what they believe in. For education attainment, in 2016, 8% of white adults completed less than a high school education. 27% completed high school only. 21% completed some college but did not obtain their degree, so they dropped out before that. 9% obtained their associate's degree, and 35% received their bachelor's or they went on to pursue a higher degree. The percent to achieve their bachelor's or higher degree, the most likely race to achieve their bachelor's or higher degree was the Asian population, and they were 54%. The lowest race was, or the lowest percent for the race was Hispanic, as well as American Indian / Alaska Native, with only 15% achieving their bachelor's or a higher degree. So this graphic shows a handful of races and if they like completed a high school degree, some college, kind of just like what I talked about. So you can see that the Hispanic race, like as I just said, or excuse me, the Asian race, as I just said, they had 54% that were completing bachelor's or higher degree, 35% white, 21% were doing that, Black, 15% Hispanic, Pacific Islander 18, and so on. And I felt like this graph just kind of had a good breakdown to compare everything. All right. So income varies by race and ethnicity. And after doing some research, the Peter G. Peterson Foundation found that in 2021, households whose head was classified as Asian or white had median incomes that were higher than the national median. On the other hand, households that were headed by people classified as Black or Hispanic had median incomes that were lower than the national median. In 2021, the median household income for homeowners that were white was about $78,000, which is $913 lower than the 2020 income. Here's another breakdown of the race and ethnicity of the household owner, and then the 2020 median household income and the 2021 median household income and how those vary. Another one, just in a different way to see it. All right. So insurance coverage, white, non-Hispanic people and Asian people had among the lowest uninsured rates. So most of them did have insurance. Coverage type for white individuals was like private insurance, 61.4%, public, 32.9%, insured in general, 94.3%, uninsured, 5.7%. Employer insurance, 55%, individual, 6.4%, Medicaid, 10.2%, and Medicare, 22.7%. And the graph or the picture I have below just shows the percentage of people without health insurance coverage by race and Hispanic origin. So obviously, the highest one is 18.8% being American Indian and Alaska Native alone, not Hispanic or Latino. And then Hispanic or Latino was the second most uninsured. This is just a breakdown of the coverage types that I just went over. All right, so the traditional native diet, this was hard to find, I'm not gonna lie, but so during the Great Depression, Jenny Zhang said that the white people food consisted of canned vegetables, various creamed substances, and starchy casseroles that were purposely designed to prioritize nutrients over flavor. Going farther back, the traditional diet consisted of recipes composed from grains, dairy, and meat, generally pretty healthy meals. Now, kind of similar. I mean, a lot of our meals consist of vegetables, dairy, and lean meats. And one of my fun facts later in this PowerPoint actually has to deal with the amount of vegetables that we eat. But I found this to be more realistic than those three items. The traditional American dishes that started here or founded here were tater tots, hot dogs, apple pie, barbecue ribs, Reuben sandwiches, biscuits and gravy, meatloaf, and hamburger. Health conditions. So according to the CDC, 12.5% of white non-Hispanic adults over the age of 18 have fair or poor health, with only 1.6% having fair or poor health that are under the age of 18. So obesity is an issue in America that we hear a lot about. 41.7% of white men aged 20 or over are obese, along with 39.7% of white women 20 or over, which is very high percentages. The average life expectancy across all racial ethnic groups was around 77 years. And for the white population, we're at 77.6, so 0.3 above the average. But for the Black race is 71.8 and Hispanic 78.8. So the Hispanic race is over a year above everyone else. The mortality rate for the non-Hispanic white population was around 2 million in 2021, with the leading causes of death being heart disease, cancer, and COVID-19. If I had to guess, COVID-19 in 2023 will not be the leading killer, but I did not find those statistics. So going on to health conditions. So health disparities among minority groups can stem from economic determinants, education, where they live, what kind of neighborhood they live in, their environment. They get lower quality of care, inadequate access to their care, struggle just like understanding the healthcare system, provider bias, and stress. And this is the percent of adults reporting fair or poor health status by race. So only 13% of white adults report poor health status. But if you look at like Hispanics, 19% of them, and Black 18%. So those are pretty high. So there are a lot of healing practices that different ethnicities choose to utilize. We learned about that in the book we read this semester. They have a lot of healing traditions that they use. For the white population, I feel as if we tend to turn more towards traditional medicine and medical care. Among adults, now this is kind of going on to mental health. Among adults in each age group, white adults were more likely than Black or Hispanic adults to use mental health services in the past year. Two cultural fun facts I found was almost a third of non-Hispanic whites had at least one heavy drinking day in the past year. And the average white American eats 16 pounds more vegetables at home each year compared to non-white Americans, which I found that to be very interesting. And here is my reference list.